Alex, I spent half my Saturday watching a neighbor try to perform an exorcism on his SUV. Turns out, he just hadn't changed the oil since the last lunar eclipse. People treat engine oil like it's some kind of mystical suggestions, but it's really just the lifeblood keeping that mechanical heart from turning into a very expensive paperweight.
An exorcism? Was there sage involved, or just a lot of colorful language? Honestly, I get why people put it off. You pull into one of those quick lube places, they start upselling you on cabin filters you didn't know existed, and suddenly a $30 job costs $100. It feels like a racket.
It can be, but that's the beauty of doing it yourself. When you're the one under the chassis, you aren't just saving a few bucks, you're actually getting an intimate look at how your machine is holding up. Plus, you aren't using the bargain bin sludge those chain shops buy by the tanker.
Okay, but for someone who considers mechanic work to be topping off the washer fluid, where do we actually start? Because crawling under 2 tons of steel with a wrench and a dream sounds like a great way to end up as a pancake.
Safety first, or you'll be a flat-packed DIY project. You need to get that front end up. Ramps are the beginner's best friend. Just drive up and set the parking brake. If you're using a jack, you absolutely, under no circumstances, trust the hydraulics alone. You put jack stands under there. I've seen a floor jack fail like a tired lung, and you don't want to be the thing it exhales on.
Right, jack stands are non-negotiable. I've heard you mention chalking the wheels too. Is that just a fancy way of saying put a brick behind the tire?
Pretty much. A sturdy block of wood or a dedicated wheel chock behind the rear tires ensures the car doesn't decide to take a stroll while you're mid-drain. Once you're secure, you're looking for the drain plug. It's usually the low point on the oil pan. And here's where the fun starts. Getting that bolt off without bathing in 200-degree liquid.
I'm guessing hot oil bath is one of those lessons you learned the hard way?
Let's just say I once smelled like a deep fryer for a week. You want the engine warm so the oil flows like maple syrup, not cold molasses, but you don't want it just off the interstate hot. When you loosen that plug with your socket, do the last few turns by hand. Keep inward pressure on the bolt as you unscrew it, then yank it away fast. It's like pulling a Band-Aid, but with more potential for a mess.
I can already see the oil slick spreading across my driveway. What about the filter? I've seen people use those giant claw-looking things to get them off.
The oil filter wrench. It's the tool you hope you don't need, but pray you have. Sometimes the filter is just hand tight, but other times, the last guy who worked on it must have used a pneumatic impact wrench. If it's stuck, that wrench is your savior. But before you spin the new one on, take a finger, dip it in the new oil, and run it around the rubber gasket of the new filter. It creates a seal that actually lets you get it off next time without needing a blowtorch and a priest.
That's a pro tip right there. But let's talk intervals. The little sticker in the window always says 3,000 miles. Consumer Reports and some of these manuals are saying 5,000, 7,500, even 10,000. Who's lying to me, Tiger?
The 3,000-mile rule is a relic of the days when oil was basically just refined dinosaur juice, and engines had tolerances you could throw a cat through. Modern synthetic oils are incredible. They don't break down nearly as fast. Check your manual, not the shop sticker. Most modern cars are perfectly happy going 7,500 miles. But if you do a lot of stop-and-go driving or live in a place where the air feels like a blow dryer, you might want to lean toward the shorter side.
So while we're waiting for the oil to finish dripping into the pan, which apparently takes a few minutes, is that when we do the everything else check?
Exactly. Don't just stare at the drips. Look at your CV boots. Check for leaks in the transmission. Look at your brake pads. It's like a physical for your car. And don't forget the other fluids. Power steering, brake fluid, and the radiator coolant.
Oh, I saw something about a coolant flush. That sounds like another one of those upsells. Is that actually necessary?
Actually, yeah, it is. Over time, coolant changes its pH level. It goes from being a protector to being an acid that eats your head gaskets from the inside out. You don't need to do it every year, usually every 100,000 miles or so, but ignoring it is a great way to turn your engine into a very heavy boat anchor.
Okay, so we've drained the oil, swapped the filter, and checked the fluids. Now we just pour the new stuff in and call it a day?
Almost. Don't forget the crush washer on the drain plug. It's a tiny little copper or aluminum ring. It's designed to deform and create a perfect seal. If you reuse the old one, you're basically inviting a slow drip to live on your garage floor. Replace it, torque the bolt down, not so tight you strip the threads, just snug plus a bit, and then fill her up.
And then the satisfying part, starting the engine and watching the oil light go out.
That's the moment of truth. Let it run for a minute, then shut it off and check the dipstick. You want to make sure you're right between those two marks. Too little oil and you're friction welding your pistons. Too much and you're whipping it into a froth like a latte, which doesn't lubricate anything.
It sounds like the biggest hurdle isn't the difficulty, it's just the fear of messing up something expensive. But hearing you break it down, it's really just a series of small, logical steps.
It really is. A car is just a collection of bolts and fluids. If you treat it with a little respect and keep the grit out of the gears, it'll take you across the country and back. There's a certain pride in knowing that the machine humming under you is running smooth because you spent an hour getting your hands dirty.
So, takeaway for the listeners: read the manual, get some jack stands, don't fear the grease, and for heaven's sake, replace the tiny copper washer.
Precisely. Your car doesn't need a miracle. It just needs a little attention and some fresh oil. Now let's go see if my neighbor has finished his exorcism or if I need to lend him a 14mm socket.
I'll grab the camera. This I have to see.